Hello and welcome to People's Podcast, the show where we delve into big questions and uncover the hidden truth of our rapidly changing world. I am your host, Neo, and this episode has been inspired by the book I'm currently reading called Anxious Generation. So, whether you are a red Republican, a blue Democrat, a Christian, a Jew, a Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist, agnostic, atheist, or, living off entitlements, or even pulling in $1 million plus. Whether you are straight or gay, a parent of a 6 year old who attended Sandy Hook, or a grandfather whose greatest delight is taking his granddaughter on deer hunting, this podcast is for you. So, we might not have all the answers, but we will definitely point you towards where to find them. So, today we are embarking on a thought experiment that is both thrilling and chilling. You're going to imagine this. Imagine your 10-year-old child has been selected by a visionary billionaire to join the first permanent human settlement on Mars. Now, this decision was based on her stellar academic performance and analysis of her genome, a genome you don't even remember consenting to as a parent. Now, surprise, she signed up for this mission herself because one, she adores space, and two, all of her friends are on board. So now she's asking for your blessing to leave Earth behind. And as a parent, before you say no, you decide to dig deep and try to learn more. Yeah, and here is what you uncover. The mission's rationale is that children adapt better to Mars's unique environment than adults. So the idea is that if kids go through puberty on Mars, their bodies will adjust to its low gravity in a way that adults cannot. But the theory you learn that has a lot of risks and a lot of unknowns. Keep imagining. Now, one of the risks you think about is radiation. So, we are aware that the Earth is shielded by a sphere that protects us from a lot of harmful solar and cosmic radiations. And so, Mars does not have this. And actually, settlers there, they are exposed to higher levels of radiation. And while radiation protection has been designed for adults, this is on Mars, children, they are even at a higher risk. You know, we know children, their cells are growing and dividing very rapidly, which makes them more susceptible to the damage. And now you start to wonder, actually, did the mission planners consider these? And it seems no, they haven't. And another thing you consider is the evolution, especially on based on the gravitational pull. So the evolution has tailored every Earth creature to our planet's gravity. So our bones, our muscles, and cardiovascular systems, they are developed to handle this constant pull, this gravitation. And on Mars, it has only 38% of Earth's gravity. So children, if they're there, they're going to face a lot of severe health issues. Even adult astronauts already experience a lot of muscle weakening and bone density loss in low gravity. So for children now who are even still growing, their risk could even be more significant. And again, did the planners really account for this? And from my perspective, the answer seems to be no. So, big question. Would you let your child go? Now, it's a daunting thought, especially sending kids to Mars with no potential, I mean, with the potential of even never returning to Earth. And the company behind the missions, they seem to be more interested in beating competitors. Uh, you know, they're not ensuring any sort of child safety. They don't even require proof of parental consent beyond that checkbox that is on the form. And it's a stark reminder of how companies really can prioritize the ambitions over the well-being of children. So now let's pivot this to a more grounded issue. Um, in the early 2000s, technology companies on the West Coast they rolled out innovations that reshaped our world. There was the rise of internet devices, smartphones. They promised all these to make lives much more easier and even more connected. And but as these technologies infiltrated everyday life, they began changing childhood in a ways we did not fully understand. By 2008, it was clear that smartphones and tablets were changing how children interacted with the world. And while these devices kept kids entertained and quiet, concerns about their impact on mental health started emerging. So, despite the widespread adoption, there was very little research that had been done on how these technologies can affect young minds. So, as evidence of potential harm began to surface, a lot of technology companies, they responded to these issues with denial and a lot of public relation campaigns rather than actually addressing the issue head on. And these companies, they kept engineering their products to be very addictive. They use a lot of technological tricks, I mean psychological tricks to, to keep users engaged, and they often targeted the most vulnerable children. And examples, social media platforms, video games, and different other digital content, they have created, a flood of stimuli that displaces our physical interaction and our in-person social interaction, fundamentally changing childhood. Think about this. The period from 2010 to 2015, it marked a significant shift. But the impact of these technologies is ongoing. We have seen the rise of anxious, overprotected parenting, the deepening effects of COVID-19 pandemic on children's mental health. And definitely, if you go deep into this, you will going to realize that the legal framework around these technologies, they have always struggled to keep up. Example, US laws like COPPA enacted in 1998, they set the age of internet adulthood at 13. And this law, however, does not require companies to verify ages as a result, many young children can now access online platforms without their parental knowledge. Well, now, what do you think about that? Put in the comments. As the story continues, you realize also that the comparison to historical industries is striking. Just as oil companies fought against the banning of leaded gasoline, despite the, its clear harm on children's brain development, even today's technology giants, they face a lot of scrutiny for their products' impact on minors. Uh, while social media offers a lot of valuable benefits to adults, its effects on children are more concerning. So, Was the first episode, and as we wrap up this episode, I want you to remember that understanding how technology shapes childhood is very important for safeguarding the future generations. So, join us in the next episode as we dive very deep into the psychological effects of these technologies. We are going to explore data on both children and adults, and we are going to discuss a lot of steps that can be taken to ensure safer childhood. So, we want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on the impact of technology on childhood? And how do you think we can better protect kids in this digital age? Share your thoughts. And even yourself, you might be impacted by this evolving world in one way or another. Yeah, you might tell us your experience with using social medias or experiencing this technology. So please stay tuned for the next episode. Subscribe to this one, share your thoughts, and you have a wonderful day.